Donald Trump's big, ugly bill is absolutely screwing over Donald Trump's own voters. Americans, as a whole, disapprove of the big, ugly bill by a 21-point margin. No surprise. It's a terrible, terrible bill. Donald Trump doesn't really care about that. He probably somehow doesn't care about that number, which is crazy, but think about who we're dealing with. But he does care about his base. And his base also hates this bill. White men without college degrees. I mean, a key part of Trump's coalition that he won by 40 points just last November. How much did we talk about? White men without college degrees. That group opposes this bill by a 10-point margin. Rural white voters oppose this bill by an 11-point margin. Here's how one analysis from the Washington Post summed it up quite well, I would say. In counties where more than 1/4 of the population is on Medicaid, Trump gained 17 percentage points on average over the party's 2012 performance. 17 points. More than double his average gain in counties with low Medicaid enrollment rates. In other words, those Medicaid cuts will be felt the most in the places that were most crucial to Trump's 2 election victories. I mean, over the weekend, Donald Trump's own pollster, urged Senate Republicans to scale back these cuts, saying, quote, "The working class Americans who gave President Trump his overwhelming victory, as well as majorities in the House and Senate, deserve nothing less." That's Trump's own pollster.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. This big, ugly bill that just passed the Senate may have made Donald Trump and his billionaire backers happy, but they're about the only ones. The few remnants of Trump's base that still support this bill, as soon as they find out what it is going to do to them, they're going to blame someone. And it's up to Democrats to make sure that the blame falls on those who deserve it. The feckless Republicans who knew what this bill would do and voted for it anyway. I wanted to get a sense of how it feels on the ground in a swing district in a crucial state. So I asked Army vet and congressional candidate Alex Hawkins to join me. He's got great insight into how Trump's policies are being received in Middle America. And he also just happens to have served on the White House bomb squad when he was on active duty during Trump's first term. He's kind of a badass. Here's our conversation. Welcome to the Ken Harbaugh Show. I've got Alex Hawkins with me, Army vet, running for Congress in Michigan's 10th congressional district, which is a real battleground. And not just a battleground, it is a point of pride for the Trump administration. Donald Trump visited the Michigan 10th for his 100-day celebration speech, and it was quite the event. Alex, I understand you were in the area.
Yeah, I showed up outside. He showed up to Macomb Community College, and the reports that we have heard from local news is that there were about 2,000 to maybe 2,500 people inside attending his event, and outside we had around 5,000 or 6,000 people show up to show in protest against Donald Trump's current policies.
Well, that's what I really asked you to join us to provide some insight on. Is this feeling that, you know, I get in my orbit, but then again, I'm a progressive podcaster, right? On the ground, in the trenches, is there a vibe shift? Is there a realization that Trump's campaign was full of empty promises? What he's actually delivering is hurting Americans. How are people reacting to Trump 2.0?
So what I've seen a lot at events is people who maybe voted for Donald Trump, but are not MAGA, right? They thought they were voting for lesser of two evils. And those people are showing up. The Dems who maybe just go to the polls and don't ever do, Democratic activist work. Those people are showing up at events. Those people are showing up and joining organizations that are, coordinating protests and fighting for, Medicare, because in our district, we have 182,000 people on Medicare and, or Medicaid, and they're going to be cutting that. And so these people are showing up as they're starting to see these policies, as these older people are afraid of getting their Social Security cut. And we're slowly seeing a trickle from the Trump supporters. But right now, what I'm seeing the most of is Democratic supporters showing up in droves, ones that have never shown up before, on the activist side, who are coming out to show that they're not happy and that what's happening is not okay.
And what is primarily motivating them? I mean, you alluded to Medicare. Is it kitchen table issues? Is it pocketbook issues? Or are some of the more you might call them esoteric. I call them foundational issues like basic civil rights, like habeas corpus, like constitutional guarantees. Have some of those issues broken through yet when you look at what Trump is doing on immigration, for example?
So, I mean, I'll talk about habeas corpus first. We've heard concern in the district, but that's not something that the majority of my district is talking about when I'm out there talking to folks. People are concerned about healthcare. People are concerned about losing their union jobs. This is a huge working class district with working class families, and the unions are incredibly strong here. And after Donald Trump, forced all of the federal employees that they can no longer collectively bargain, and he stripped that away from them, and he is doing everything he can to dismantle the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, and these people are scared. These people understand, even the ones who are in unions that voted for Donald Trump are starting to see how this is starting to unfold, and there is concern.
Hey, it's Ken Harbaugh. Quick break to say thank you to everyone who's been following and supporting this show and this channel. None of it happens without you. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my Substack page, I'd really appreciate the follow. It's a great way to make sure you never miss an episode. It's free to sign up. And if you're able to pitch in a few bucks, every dollar goes back into the show. Just search for The Ken Harbaugh Show on Substack or click the link below. Thanks. Is there a way to thread the needle when it comes to messaging? Because I get that those pocketbook issues are the ones that people rightly think about most of the time, right? Most people aren't steeped in politics like you, a candidate, and me, a talking head. They have real lives, and they got to go shopping and get their kids to daycare and all of that. They don't have time to worry about obsessively the things that you and I worry about, like habeas corpus. But in some ways, those are the more important issues, because if we lose those, the other issues don't matter, right? Inflation comes and goes. Policies vis-a-vis unions come and go. But if we lose our fundamental civil rights, we don't get them back for a long time. Are you trying to break through with that message, or are you being tactical and saying, look, that can wait. I got to talk about money?
So, I mean, I'm talking about money first and foremost, because on election day, a lot of these things don't matter if these people are in $40,000 of credit card debt and don't have a single cent in their bank account, right? They do matter. And it's difficult, like you said, trying to thread that needle of me trying not to be an alarmist and trying to talk to these people who don't live it, and breathe it like you and I do, seeing it unfold every day and start to unravel. It takes a lot of tactical thinking and messaging to be able to speak to them on those issues that they're super concerned about, economy wise. And then me trying to say, I need you to kind of show up if you can, right? A single mom working 2 jobs who it's hard to ask, hey, can you show up to this? Hey, can you come make sure you're getting out there in the community, because they're working so hard, but we need that, or we're going to lose what we have. And it's difficult to not, I don't want to be the alarmist, but you and I see it firsthand is it's slowly slipping away, which is what happens in these situations.
Tell us a little bit about Michigan's 10th. It has swung Republican even more in 2024 than 2020, but might still be considered a bellwether. What's going on there, and how can it teach us something about the larger American electorate?
So I think Macomb County, Michigan, which is 90% of the county, or 90% of the district, we have 10% of Oakland County. And so this incredibly working class, district, is the middle America, is the factory towns. The district is comprised of, a different set of people than maybe a very affluent county or a very rural county, right? And so this district has gone Bernie Sanders in 2016, and then it went, Gretchen Whitmer, and it went Donald Trump, and it went, Gretchen Whitmer, Donald Trump again. So we know the votes are here, and these people just feel forgotten by the Democratic Party. They feel that the Democratic Party is failing them and not showing up, by and large. So they're gravitating towards people like Donald Trump, who are saying, I'm going to do something for you. And they think maybe they will, because the Democrats have been telling me that they're going to for a long time, and they just haven't seen it.
We're going to end with your announcement video, but for the uninitiated, can you describe what EOD is. It's one of the most badass specializations in the Army. What did you do when you were wearing the nation's uniform?
Yeah, so I'm not as cool as a pilot, not as cool as a fighter pilot. But as soon as you drop your ordnance, it's my job as an explosive ordnance disposal technician, now officer, to go to that ordnance or those bombs. And my job is to render them safe, to protect personnel and property. And so I've had a chance to do that for the last 10 years on active duty and now in the Michigan Army National Guard. I've been to Africa. I've been to the Middle East. I had a chance to work at the White House on military orders as the on-call bomb squad team. And it's the most fulfilling thing I've done in my life, because having a chance to put myself between the people that can't and the people that can, such as myself, and that are willing to do that and make that ultimate, long walk down and possibly the ultimate sacrifice. It trains a lot into you. And I don't think we're crazy, because it's either my problem or immediately it's not. So
I guess. What was it like being on the on-call bomb squad at the White House? And just as an aside, my assumption is you don't care who the president is in that job. You're doing your job. And at the time it was Donald Trump in the Oval Office, right?
Yes. So, we do a lot of Secret Service support. Anytime the president, vice president, or their families go anywhere in the world, there's a team of military bomb techs that get, brought to that location to sweep the location. And so, yes, I worked there while Donald Trump was currently the president. I would stand on West Exec as General Mattis would come in the morning, and I could see, because we worked 24-hour shifts, and past some of these incredible figures that tried to hold on as long as they could. But we do not care who the president is, because it's about protecting the office and not particularly the person. For me, in my case, last year I had a chance to get put on military orders from October through November, and I was traveling with the Secret Service for the Trump and Harris campaigns. So Monday I'd be at a Harris rally, Wednesday I'd be at a Trump rally, Friday Trump rally, Sunday, right? And so I did that nonstop, just like the Secret Service does. And I got to see a very different scene at both rallies, right? And so at one rally, they'd talk about hanging a 4-star general. And then at one rally, people were happy and excited and had hope. And so I lived that real time. And it's a weird place to be in when I'm standing in the hallway and I watch Donald Trump walk in front of me and walk past me. And, I have to put a separate place in my brain, as I'm sure for different things that you have to do in life, I protect the office. I protect, and what the office means. And it's exciting.
Well, Alex, great having you. We will be tracking the race, Michigan's 10th congressional district. Where can people learn more about you and support your campaign?
Yeah, Ken, I appreciate it. People can follow me on Instagram, Alex Hawkins for Congress, Facebook, the same thing. Blue Sky Next is Hawk for Congress. And if you go to my website at alexhawkinsformichigan.com, you can find all my links there. It's much easier. But no, I really appreciate you having me on and having a chance to speak to you and your viewers and your listeners. And I look forward to hopefully speaking to you later on and updating you on the race.
You got it. We'll keep checking in. Good luck, Alex.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ken.
Hi, I'm Alex Hawkins, and I'm running for Congress because we need more people who are willing to stand up and call out the BS. When I watched Trump's inauguration and saw a bunch of billionaires sitting front and center in our US Capitol, I got pissed. I grew up with a single mom who worked hard to keep us in the middle class. I struggled in school, and I was diagnosed with dyslexia. When I was 8, I lost my father to suicide. My proudest moments are not buying private jets and increasing my net worth. They're when I was able to serve my community and my country. That's a lesson my grandfather taught me. He was hit with shrapnel in Vietnam and spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair. But he lived his life defying the odds and fighting for everyday people and those with disabilities. His example led me to join the US Army and pick one of the hardest and most impactful specializations I could think of, Army EOD, also known as the Bomb Squad. I enlisted as a bomb tech and served on active duty both at home and abroad. And I proudly continue my service as an EOD officer in the Michigan Army National Guard. But I know there are other ways for me to serve the community I grew up in. I'm a reserve sheriff's deputy, a youth mentor, and I had the honor of serving as a Congressional Wounded Warrior Fellow, where I fought for constituents and veterans to get the benefits they deserved. And that's why I'm running for Congress, to fight for the people of Southeast Michigan. The teachers, like my sister, who spend money out of their own pockets to buy school supplies. The veterans I serve with, and every family living paycheck to paycheck. Too many in Washington are out of touch with real life. I know this won't be easy, and people are going to call me much worse than an underdog, but I don't give a shit. Life's about answering the call to serve and standing up for those who need us. I hope you'll join me.
New Meidas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.